Joining me now for Locked On Gators is J.P. Tillman, a new guest that we haven't had before, but we've got him here. DJ Lagway is quarterback trainer and the quarterback coach at Houston Christian High School. And JP, we're going to jump right into it. What did you make of DJ Lagway's first career start against Samford?
Extremely surreal. It was awesome seeing him play in his element, surrounded by 90,000 plus fans that were and ready to embrace him and see him come to his own on that field inside that stadium. So much, it felt like after that game, so much more hope was pushed into the stadium, so much more sight into the future. Just the kid played just an amazing game. I'm sure it's even yesterday, it was like waking up and being like, man, that really happened yesterday. Like 456 yards. Wow, like amazing. And then, the way he played throughout the game, it wasn't just the touchdown passes or the really long passes. It was just the consistency that he played at. He just stayed at a high level. The team rallied behind him. The team played well with him. It was them all as a collection of guys making plays with each other. It was so great to see the way they utilized the play calling, how they strung together different series and plays. It just seemed like they had a good idea of what they wanted to do with him, what they were trying to do to that team. And so it just seemed like everybody was effective and they were all on the same page. So, we've seen a great deal of yards and touchdowns and plays being made. It seemed like the group was really ready to play, from the quarterback to the lineman to the running backs to the receivers to the defense. And so I can't wait to see this next week. I'm sure there's tons of questions, but I think they see a young man who's ready to help his team any way he can. And also when he gets his opportunity to show up and show out for the Gators in the most positive way he can.
And just take me back for a second. How long have you been working with DJ and how did that start?
DJ and I started working together around the 9th grade year. He was at that time playing a lot of different positions, just trying to be a varsity player, get the experience and understand. And at the time he had a coach who believed he could play quarterback and put him in the position to play quarterback. So his 10th grade year, he played in one style of system, which is kind of like what we see him playing in right now to an extent. But then he also played in a system the following year that was more spread out, 4 wide receivers, 5 wide receivers. And we really seen him grow in that type of style of offense for about 2 years. And through, I think, him playing in that type of offense where catch and throw, catch, make a read, throw, a RPO game, which is something we didn't really see this past weekend, which is a strong part of his game. But it wasn't needed to get the W. It wasn't needed to show what he can do out there. I think it just adds to the what they plan on doing with the plays and the style of play that they want to see him during different parts of the game, how he can just take effect and, be a catalyst during the game. So I think DJ allowed me and the Lagways allowed me to work with him through those 3 years, 3.5 years, to really push the development of DJ, to really get him to understand what quarterback engulfs, not just the throwing, not just the boardroom stuff, the IQ stuff, but also how to just kind of talk during interviews and how to display that he has a strong love for the game through how he kind of connects with the audience, connects with people, how he also wears his faith on his sleeve, encouraging that part of him. Just being a supporter, but also, you know, letting him know when things should be a different way. Just being an encourager of good and positive, and just stepping in when I see that there's something that could be highlighted, talked about. Um, just not being a yes man all the time, but being somebody who it really wants to see him stay on the beaten path, run for success as fast as he can. He's a blessing. He's an awesome young man. He's special. I think everybody there in the facility and in the city is growing to know that about the young man, and keeping his identity the same as he grows, but being that same young man who cares about his faith, loves the Lord, loves his football team, loves his family, wants to do his best every day. It's not easy being in the light like he is, I'm sure, but he's been doing a great job of dealing with it, and just trying to become the man he's trying to be while he's a 19-year-old kid, first time on in a college campus for over 9 months now. He's just been um, each day growing and learning and growing and understanding for who he's becoming, but also who's this program's asking him to be this year. Um, and so it's a great thing, I think, for him to be able to go to school early, get there, grasp the offense, show his ability coming in, but also the things that he wanted to get better at. I think he tremendously got better at his footwork. I think during this time, he also kind of connected with his long ball, having a little bit just stronger connection with it, and feeling like if anytime he can call upon it, he can string that thing out there. Um, it's the last week was kind of um, just a little up and down craziness because it was the shoulder stuff and just kind of figuring out what was going on and what he could do and what the evaluations were, and then just getting the positive feedback and knowing that everything's good and he'll be able to play and be able to work through this as he gets it better. So that was for that to be in the beginning of the week, and then for this to happen at the end of the week, it was also awesome. It was just like, whew, like awesome, man. That was it started out crazy, it started off seeming pretty tough, but no, this is how God had it, and it made its way to in front of all of us, so that we could see the amazing things that this young man is blessed to be able to do, and love to see him give glory to God in the press conference, allowing everyone to know where his power comes from and where he feels like he's connected to, and how his performance is connected to his faith. And I think through him showing that and letting that be 100% genuinely him allows people to want to gravitate to that same power, to want to have that same type of connection in their life, for positive things to happen, but also when things aren't right, still being able to stay headstrong and focused, knowing that tomorrow can be a better day. Just keep going, have that spirit of positivity and encouragement, and you know I think that's the key to just pushing through anything in life, good or bad, not getting too high on yourself, not getting too low, but being able to just stay even keeled uh, throughout a game, throughout a day, throughout a week, throughout a month. Sometimes things happen slowly. Sometimes things happen fast. Just being able to grasp the moment and allow that to allow yourself to just resonate in it, but also not to let the moment uh, be bigger than what it is. Uh, and I think we can learn to just perform and play and live to the best of our ability when we kind of just stay mentally locked in that way. So
Yeah, I think DJ Lagway going to the podium at all was shocking because Florida for years has not allowed any true freshmen over there to
yeah,
actually take the podium, and new SID in charge of football there. Apparently, they're gonna let some things change there, but stepped
he's
up all the way. And
first. He's a young man with a lot of firsts. It was his first game in the starting in the stadium. The first time a true freshman threw for that many yards. Uh, you know, broke Chris Leak's record. Um, it was just a surreal moment, and I've seen it every time. I was talking to Joe Hamilton about it, and it's different because there's a there's a certain number of us that are so close to DJ where we see it in real time, but it's like, man, this is really happening. And sometimes we just like, I just try to just let the moment be, and just and have full joyful, emotions, just watching him play and go out there running through the tunnel and being in the place that he wanted to be at and having success, but also just before the game started, just seeing the moment uh, matriculate, manifest itself into being right there, and this was his opportunity to put everything in motion that he had visions and dreams about before signing, his letter of intent, and before coming there in January and being on campus full time. Just those things, I'm sure it was just an outpouring of emotions for his family, for him, and just those moments. I know he'll remember for the rest of his life. But the beginning of just the impact that I think he's going to have at that university. I have so many aspirations for him being there, and uh, think think he will have a very successful career there. It's already being evident. I think there's some spots in that stadium that'll be filled up. There's spots in the facility that'll be filled up with trophies and awards and accolades. They're not just from him, but from his teammates too, as they continue to grow and develop, and that team starts to just continue to rise back to their where they've been for so long and where we all want to see them be, and just being that national power. And it just starts with a few people that believe, and that turns into hundreds into thousands of people that believe, and that's all you need, you know. So it seems like there's a more than a few catalysts for change on that team, starting with the coaching staff, and I think just everybody has to give it a little time to be able to see this thing the way I think it's going to play out. Um, but at the same time, it's exciting to see how things are playing out right now when DJ's on the field, and how the team stays connected to him and how they rally behind him. Um, I think it was amazing to hear the things that were written about in articles about what teammates had said last week, the week before, and what they're saying right now. It's showing that even though he may be QB2 on the depth chart, the team sees him as a natural leader, an appointed leader. And when you get guys that can feel a certain way about QB2 just like they feel about QB1, you know that the genuine feeling about how they see that young man is true, and it just puts them in a whole nother aura of being able to just stay connected, the energy, um, and I feel like they have that same uh, want and desire with Graham. I think he's an amazing leader. I think he pushes the team to push themselves, um, and I think he has grown through his college career to be able to put himself in position to make that push for the NFL. And so, in watching him past season and having such a high success rate of completions, the way the offense was effective, just going into this season, wanting to see him play his best ball and be able to live out his dreams, after this season. It's in the situation of like just what everybody's kind of seeing back and forth. I think both guys are continuing to prepare themselves as best as they can. You got DJ learning from Graham, trying to fine tune things on himself, and DJ just kind of optically watching how he does certain things, how he does. Um, Prepare himself for the games, how he prepares himself through the week of practice. All those things are necessary. Majority of NFL quarterbacks and college quarterbacks that have the ability to come in and not necessarily grab hold of the reins on first day, but to kind of be able to work themselves into the system, into the knowledge of and understanding of what the coach is trying to see and produce on the field, allows you to get a a an idea, a preconceived um, work of what's already being done now. Like this is already a routine, and this is how things have a flow to it. And so, keeping that flow, maybe adding a little bit different things here and there because of certain guys' identity is always a factor. But being able to have a blueprint, those things can take you a long way to kind of just know how to navigate certain areas and do it professionally. And I think that's what DJ wants to do. And I think that's what Graham does a phenomenal job of doing and showing.
Yeah, and you had mentioned the play calling during the Saturday game where we saw the deep ball break out a lot more often than we've seen in just Billy Napier's tenure at Florida. Even with Anthony Richardson, they didn't throw the ball to the frequency that they threw it with DJ Lagway on Saturday. They didn't throw the deep ball to that frequency. You are, at this point, the most experienced coach with DJ Lagway's lifetime and his career, with working with him so early and still working with him now. What did you think of the Gators offense with him at the helm? I know we didn't see the RPO that I also expected to see, but I'm assuming that's because it was against Samford, why put him in more opportunities to get hit if he keeps the ball there. But just what did you think of what the offense looked like with him there, even compared to Graham or just independently?
I just thought that we seen an explosive offense that was electric when it needed to be electric. It was on the ground when it needed to be on the ground, um, which opened it up to be able to air it out in different areas of the field. The run game was probably the biggest um, highlight I seen. I kept saying it to a few people is the way DJ takes attention of the defense on run plays with his ball fakes with his action after giving the ball. I think those things aren't noticed, but when you see that the linebackers are looking at DJ, or the DNs are looking at DJ, the safety is looking at DJ, then all of a sudden that helps small milliseconds of hesitation that allows Montrell, that allows Jaden, that allows Webb to be able to get through different pockets of the line a little bit more easier. There was the touchdown Montrell had where he kind of just like walked into the end zone untouched. There were so many bodies that were paying attention to DJ, trying to see if he's going to keep the ball. Like, that's an actual thing. And if he does, like, I have to bring my whole self. I can't just bring half of me in this place. This is a big kid. This is a strong, fast kid. He's explosive, and he can get by me. He has moves to try to get by me. So I've seen a difference in the run game. Yeah, it was Samford. But it's still a collegiate team. It's still a team that has a defensive coordinator who is paid to learn how to put his team into defensive positions that they can stop what the offense is trying to do. It's still a 19-year-old kid playing against 20-year and up to 27. I think when he played last week versus Miami, the Miami has somebody who's
Yeah, Cam McCormick is in his 9th year of eligibility.
Yeah, so I mean, that's 9 years old. So he's, regardless of who's out there, they're definitely more experienced and older than DJ is, and which is what we all wanted to see, was the team rally and play with him. So again, like we were talking about before the show started, just playing within yourself and not feeling like you have to do more than what is required and necessary. That's when we start to make some issues with the offense and how effective it is because of our decision making, or how erratic our feet and our mind is, and we're just not playing our best ball because we're just not functioning like we usually want to, being calm and collective. And that's another thing that we were able to see with DJ, was how calm he was in the pocket, still moving the pocket, being able to have efficiency downfield on throws that may not have been touchdowns, which to me seems like some of his best throws were not necessarily the touchdown throws. They were awesome. I loved them. I was screaming. I was going crazy. But it were the throws that were second, third level throws that still had touch and delivery. And by delivery, I mean, like, the ball continued to move. The receiver continued to stay on his path. He didn't have to break stride. He didn't have to slow down. The defenders didn't catch back up to any of those throws. The balls were put in position in certain places where his receivers could be in position to win. And when you see the throw to DK and the throw to Badger on like the left side of the field, and he's moving DJ's moving from pressure to the left, kind of like side shuffling a little bit, like we see Aaron Rodgers do. And then he throws these balls over guys who are trailing, a receiver, or right, this guy's double covered, but still somehow DJ fits the ball in there and puts, like, those were the throws where I felt like, man, like, he's really showing everybody like his ability and skill level, but also how confident he is in his game, the things that he feels like he can utilize to help the ball get to where it needs to get to, help the offense move. The first throw, when they're like, DJ, what made you throw that ball to Badger? He's like, it's the first read. Like, why not throw it? It's open. And it's I think the offense was effective, and the play caller was effective in how he utilized the personnel and the skill level of the players in those personnel groupings. It just made for a lot of explosive plays. the way Trey was able to navigate himself through the offense. There was one play I look back on, and shoot, I think we could have hit Trey on a post route, like around in the third quarter or so. But it's awesome to be able to see those things and be like, okay, well, shoot, now, we get this play call and they still want to play one high like this, but they're playing 15 yards cushion on Trey, and we could still sit him down and hit the post. So being able to see some things through the game that also we can get better at, and we can get this data and feedback and be able to just make some adjustments and changes. I think that's really big for him too, as he goes through this building confidence, but also building an understanding of how the game can be played throughout the system that's given to him, and also see how the coaches continue to develop certain systems and develop him throughout the season through what they want to see him do in game. This year is going to be, I think, pretty exciting, especially after this game, because he not only has confidence, but I think the staff has another higher level of confidence in putting him out there with different systems, plays, and situations.
Yeah, one of the things that you mentioned that stood out to me for DJ against Samford was I wanted to see how he would navigate the pocket, because we saw him at Willis do that routinely. It felt like plays were breaking down quite a bit. If you watch his high school film, you have no question about whether or not he can make off-platform throws. That was something that we got to see a lot of. But like you mentioned, like these are still collegiate players. I understand it's Samford, it's FCS. It's different from high school. And so for him to just navigate the pocket the way that he did, and like you mentioned, the Elijah Badger, why'd you throw it? First read, and it was open. Like that kind of that arm confidence is it's FU arm talent. Like that's what he has at this point. And it's insane to see. I'm assuming you're going to work with him again, probably after this season, and looking at what his biggest area of development is. I'm assuming that you're still speaking with him, even though, of course, I mean, you were at the Miami game. So I'm assuming you're still in touch with him, talking about things like that. What's the next area for him where you kind of look at and you say, this is what we're going to tackle next? And you and I spoke, March, April, about DJ Lagway's improved mechanics from even just from Willis to the time he got on campus. It felt like he improved his mechanics, improved further this fall. So what's next for DJ Lagway's development?
I think it's cerebral IQ things. I think it's in the details of the film watching, and also in the details of him watching himself. Being able to identify certain situations and that he's already been in or seen, and understand where the ball should go, how soon my eyes and feet and body need to get to the next progression. I think he's doing an amazing job learning the plays and understanding when the feel and the rhythm of the play should get him to certain things. I think he does also another great job of using practice to make mistakes and to advance his knowledge and understanding of players on both sides, and also the defensive coverage, what can be thrown, what can't be thrown. And kind of playing with certain things during practice. I think that's where you do those things at. Some people want to see a 100% effective practice, and I'm like, but then you go in the game and it'd be a 60% grade out, and it's because you tried to be outside of yourself, and you didn't really have a great understanding of the areas where we really should be trying to get the ball to, and how we can deliver the ball to those areas and create the best opportunity. And sometimes that's where you do your dirty work is in practice, so you can make those mistakes and then make the fine-tuning adjustments. I think those are areas where he'll continue to grow and figure out more things in the offense. Before he had went back up there this summer, we had worked on some deep ball stuff. We worked on some kind of in and out cut stuff like we were in the pocket. I think the move y'all had seen him do where he was rolling to the left and he cut right, the one where he got hit in the head, but the movement in the pocket that he had to be able to stop on a dime, those things we're working on some of those things before he had left. He's just such an amazing off-platform thrower. We really don't have to work on that like we used to in high school. His high school delivery, his mechanics, those things were, just continue to be looked at and scrutinized, just, being as hard as we can on certain things so that the feel and the rhythm just all matches, and it helps him stay the most connected to the throw. And he's in a part of his development where he can feel when he's connected and when he's not connected, and just allowing that to continue further growth in him. When he's down there, I know Coach O'Hara and Coach Napier are just drilling him on certain drills and certain things that they have a great deal of knowledge on. That's why I was highlighting his footwork, because I know that they have been since the time he got there, just getting him to focus on those things right there. The play action footwork, the play action, the way he is an actor, how dramatic he can make these things look. Just is one, he took time to try to do those things out of high school, but it's gotten so much better as he's gotten to UF with the coaches, because I know that they harp on those things so much. Just making those things look so intentful, so purposeful, just allows the play to really come to life, and you having faith and belief in that play to just do those actions and give it all you got, and then turn around knowing that guy's going to be wide open down there and throwing it. I think that's where we're going to see a lot of the development as his confidence continues to grow, and he, as this year turns into next year, just whatever had happened through this season, building upon that for next season and being able to make the next level adjustments to be able to show his growth and maturation.
Yeah, I really like how you mentioned the practice bit earlier. I work in person covering the Giants. There's a ton of mistakes. There's a ton of mistakes on the field, in game as well. But with practice quarterbacking, I'm fine with you throwing picks in practice. The way that I look at it is you're figuring out what throws you shouldn't make in a game. Yes. And so that's why I have no problem with he threw this many interceptions at practice. I don't really care, because I'm assuming that you're making more, or that you're attempting riskier throws. And
I'll give you an example. DJ in the spring had threw a few interceptions that week on 2 different throws. And in the spring game, he threw those same throws, but he made adjustments from what he's seen he did wrong in practice. And we've seen him layer those balls over defenders, to the walk-on receiver who did an amazing job, but also some of the third string guys.
The Taylor Spirito, the crosser. Okay.
And then the throw to Aiden Mizell for the touchdown in the spring game. Those were throws where he had gotten interceptions during practice, but figured out how to throw the correct ball. And sometimes that's what it is. It's okay, this is the right decision, but how do I get the ball to this guy who's draped by defenders, but he's open, right? What kind of throw really is going to give my receiver the best opportunity? And so finding through failure how to succeed and succeed at a consistent rate. And that's what practice is for, whether you're practicing by yourself or you're practicing with your team. Yes, all those things are being evaluated, but that's your time to work on your craftsmanship and work on your feel for where your guys are going to be, where the ball needs to be in certain spots, knowing that guys that are playing across from you have a certain level of skill as well. And so that's what I feel about practice. That's how I was in practice. If you watch the Chiefs practice, they have a very open mind about how, Patrick performs in practice and what he's able to do. Really get him gaining confidence in certain things. He throws behind the back pass in a scrimmage in the summer, and then you see it in the game, right? So that's exactly how I think great elite players utilize the practice environment to gain a better feel of confidence and how they're going to play.
Yeah, and before I let you go, I have to ask you about this. DJ Lagway is moving to the bench again. Graham Mertz starting, or at least that's what Billy Napier seemed to imply in the post-game press conference, was that we're going to go back with Graham, but DJ will play. As a quarterback trainer, quarterback coach, I'll say this: I think that DJ Lagway should be the starting quarterback here. I understand the reasons for having him on the bench. I'm just curious when it comes to use, and I'm assuming that you think the same, maybe, but with the rotating quarterback thought, do you think it's necessarily better to go in this 4-play package? We're going to go DJ Lagway, or do you think it's better to say, hey, QB1's getting 2 drives, QB2's getting a full drive himself, instead of just coming in for a few packages, few plays in terms of the rhythm of the offense?
I know that the plan for DJ was for him to play a certain extended amount of plays, and each game, he wasn't like he was going to redshirt this season.
Yeah, of course.
Him gaining the most experience throughout this season was one of the focal points, and him being able to have packages that the coaches have worked on throughout the summer and each week was another thing for him to be implemented in. And I think that works in different ways based on how the game is going, the situations that the area that the ball is in, the feel of the game, and if we have any wrinkles and surprises for the defense through those packages or him being on the field. He in the game this week, they went into Wildcat and DJ went to the outside and he had an amazing block. No, I don't think anybody really seen it because they were just so, focused on what he was doing, throwing the ball.
I think everybody was too mad that they were looking at DJ Lagway play wide receiver that they were just like, I don't care what happens.
Yes, no, he made an amazing block. He made a little move off the line and came up. I mean, he's a team player. He's all about the team and how he can help his team be in the best situation to be victorious. And that's the young man you're looking at. Now, he's also the young man that said he's coming to start, in the All-American game. And he also has this high level of confidence about himself and his skill and what he can do with the ball to help his team. I think it puts the school in just a weird feel because you have just a situation that came about that you didn't think was going to matriculate itself in this fashion this soon. I think, like I said earlier, I think the staff thought they'd be able to keep Graham healthy and be able to keep DJ on the field and utilize him in certain spaces. I don't know much about how the Miami game was supposed to go. I know a certain, amount of plays that he was thinking he was going in. But I think with what DJ just did allows them to feel more confident in the situations that they can put him into. Not like, oh man, like I don't want to put him in this situation. No, I think we're all right with putting him out there. Let's have faith in this call and what we've done in practice, and let's do it. As a fan base, I know how everyone feels and what everyone sees. And when you see a catalyst the way you've seen for change, it's hard for everyone to say, well, why are we putting this gemstone back over here when we kind of already seen what we're going to get from this other one. And I think what we've seen from the other one is a lot of good things too. It's a lot of like no one came into this season bad mouthing Graham Mertz. Now everyone wanted to see DJ play to see what he adds to the team, but no one was like, after if he does bad, like we're going straight to, I want to see Lagway right now. And it's like, I mean, one game we're throwing him under the bus like he's no has no value. And like I don't think that's the way to go about the situation. And I don't think that's the best way to keep your guys, up here mentally locked in and focused. It's hard, I'm sure, for both of those guys and the staff, because no one wants to hear the crowd boo them. No one wants to hear, put the other guy in, especially when you have tried to change the narrative of who you are. And I think Graham's done such a great job of that. To what he had the second highest completion percentage rating in the college football last year. People will say, oh, when he checked down and he threw, more low risk throws. But as a quarterback, that's what your job is to do, is to move the sticks, stay away from high risk, low reward plays, and play more with the low risk, high reward plays. And hopefully your guys can make plays too. I'm always telling that to my boys is, like, we don't have to do 99.999% of the work. Like, you got ballers playing with you, like 70-30, 60-40, 50-50 sometimes. There's a lot of belief in your players goes a long way when you're making decisions and you're making them in a span of a second, less than a second at times. And so, I, I'm it's a blessing to see that young man go out there. We're all fortunate to see the amazing things he can do. I think Coach Napier is trying to figure out how to best utilize DJ and to best work this situation that he has. Um, I think both those guys can find themselves in the NFL in different facets. And so you have to be able to have an idea of what the coach is trying to figure out is the best route for his team. As fans, I see a lot of production, and I think that production is gonna make certain decisions easier throughout the year, throughout the game, and continue DJ learning and developing the plays that he probably hasn't done as much of too. Where if we had packages now, maybe it's less of a smaller package and more opened up to be able to not limit him or the team and what possibly could happen in another explosive play, or just a great personnel grouping to be able to get the ball downfield effectively. And so, yeah, I'm DJ's trainer. I want to see DJ go out there and go crazy and be the starting quarterback. And I think all that's in due time. All that's going to happen. I think also, I want to see everyone get their opportunity and their fair chance to be able to prove themselves valuable, and go after their goals and dreams too. I don't think, I don't think any player on that team thought they couldn't get the job done with Graham. I think they just also see how well they have uh, another quarterback that can go into the game and play his own style of football, and how explosive it is and how fun it is and how they believe in him. That's one of the things I think I looked at the most was how well everyone connected with DJ, in the huddle, on the sidelines, the energy they had, the focus, how locked in they were. They believed they could win with him. And that's what you want. No matter who's going in the game, the team believes in the guy that's leading them into battle. Through mistakes, through success, still having that energy locked, that focused and locked on faith and belief in the guy leading you, knowing that that's your best chance, and believing that. And so having two guys like that just makes it even better. It makes it, I think, as a fan base, it is kind of crazy. But I won a national championship on a team where both guys played. We watched, the UF win a national championship and both guys played. It was a different feeling when both of them got in. The fan base respected both of them for their values and how well they brought their skill levels to the team to help the team benefit, and making it to where they're not against each other, but they work with each other. And I think that's where you can see a lot of great things happen. It's because there's no animosity there, and it's no need for there to be created or curated, to have animosity. And I think as a staff, they've done a great job of that throughout this whole off season, of making sure both guys feel loved, feel cared about. I think they've Graham made sure he knew that this was his team. He was the leader, but the team also chose DJ as a leader themselves. Just knowing his aura and his energy and how professional he takes his business and his craft. And so that's an amazing thing to see in itself. Trey Wilson telling him before the game of Miami that you're still our leader, even though you're QB2, is just, it's an unbelievable thing to hear, because you don't hear that often. And so that would be, my feedback and how I kind of, my hopes of seeing how the season goes. I do feel like there's nothing DJ can't do. I just think he's continuing to be able to learn how to manifest everything he wants to happen on the field the way in the order he wants it to happen. He's a very patient individual, but he's also a very hungry individual. And I think that builds a competitive environment in practice and in the game, where you guys are pushing each other. That's how it was when I was playing in tandem with my buddy Dylan Gabriel. We not Dylan Gabriel, but my buddy Dylan DG. But he was an amazing quarterback himself. But we had a Batman and Robin feel, and when you're rooting for the other guy, and when the other guy's in, he can have success. He will have success. You want him to have success, and I'm gonna have my time too. When it's my turn to go in, I'm about to show out too. And so I think there's positives in that. I think there's benefits in that. Yes, at times there can be some negatives because of the feel of the game, and you feel hot and you coming out and the other guy's going in and he was cold, he's got to warm up. There's some of those things, but I think you have to kind of play it the right way with all of this, but also you got a fan base who sees the hope, sees the future, sees the right now, and everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to see success. I believe that in the staff. I believe that in the play calling, which seemed different itself, which nobody really is talking about, I think, too much. But why is it looking different? Was there a difference between the first week and the second week of the install plays or the feel of plays? And that's the one thing about playing out of conference games, is you're trying to really see what works before you get into conference and see what team you have. It's not the same team. Every year is a different team. And so it's what pieces work with each other to make this the most efficient machine possible and get us going where we're trying to go. So,
yeah, hopefully with both quarterbacks, the idea is doesn't matter who's in, as long as we're winning, as long as we're finding success. doesn't matter about that one.
Yeah, we're winning. We're winning with Graham. We're still going to want to see DJ out there. The moment that there's not success, the offense is not moving the ball. It's gonna move the notion to see what the other guy can do. I think it's just such a bright star from what he did this past weekend, and I think that pushes the idea from everyone like, look at what he just did. We can't. How do you just put him on the bench? And I fully understand that, but also he's a young man that's growing and developing, and he's figuring out his game and what he can and can't do out there, the speed of the game. And there's some negatives in being put in situations too soon, and Graham knows that, from his past at Wisconsin, and so everyone just wants to see him be able to be put in the best position, but also him be able to, when he's asked upon, he continue to put the team in the best position. And so I'm excited for this season, especially I know everyone's excited after this past weekend, the fireworks that were going off all over the place. And, I think they played a formidable opponent. It's something to teach them, to get some data from. I think the Miami was an explosive elite opponent that many people are going to see and decide probably going to be a playoff team. And when, you plan heavy for that first week, but Cam came from a totally different team. That team, again, every team is different. They have added pieces from the transfer portal that made that team even more explosive. The D line and the O line were both very, very well coached, and had a high level of confidence and skill in themselves. And so we were watching a team that looked like they were made for the playoffs. I don't think you say UF is made for the playoffs right now, but they were in that game. There's parts of that game where it just got out of hand because of the inability to move the ball, and at times. And I think that's where we see, maybe DJ being implemented, especially with this new influx of confidence for what he can do, and saying, okay, well, let's test this out. Let's test this out. And DJ now has his own confidence to play within his skill level and ability, to make that a successful play or series. And so I think there's a lot of good that came from this past week. I think people may see it as a negative if one person starts over the other. But I see it as a program gaining a confidence in itself and who they are, and figuring that out at the right time. A lot of times the QB1 goes down, and it's really hard to have a successful season or even a successful game because that's not the guy you were ready to go into battle with. And so I think, we're going to see this team continue to make strides up. And it's, like a valley of mountains. It's up, down, up, but you go down faster, and more you go down, the higher you go up. And so it's being able to handle those as a fan base, but also as, professionals in the media, me with, my critical eye of how I see things, taking it with a grain of salt and being able to see things from a much bigger picture of how they're moving instead of looking at it from the very small 1 point, because anything looks bad going this way, but when you see the whole picture and you see that this isn't as bad as what's happening here, or this wasn't as low as the one that was before it, and so there's rise and runs to this thing, and I think Napier and his staff are going to have a lot of happy people once the smoke and dust settles, it's just a lot of construction stuff going, So just they're figuring it out. I believe in them. I believe in the guys that they have accumulated to be a team, and just growing through it, figuring out what pieces work best with this puzzle. And so we I'm excited, and I know the Lagways and are all happy to be Gators, and happy to just see their son take off the way he did this past week. It was so surreal. I think there's highlights for everyone to enjoy, and to gain hope and belief that this thing is going to be better, and just stay on that train, and allow us all to just see where they finish off at the end of the season. But I am super elated for what happened, but also what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's about as good a note as you could possibly end on. So thank you very much, JP. This was JP Tillman, DJ Lagway's quarterback trainer and the quarterback coach at Houston Christian High School. And thank you so much for your time, JP.
Appreciate it, Brandon. You be blessed, man. And appreciate you allowing me to come on here and just give some side notes and some feedback on how I feel about how he did, and where I feel like this team is headed. And it's always good to see you, brother.